Take a moment and let yourself settle into the present. Do not rush. Do not pressure yourself to feel anything specific. Just breathe, slowly, gently, as if each breath were brushing dust off your spirit. Because today is carrying an energy that you have not felt in a long time. And whether you are ready or not, this light is arriving. The angels say that today marks a return to softness, a return to clarity, a return to ease, a return to the version of you that existed before the world placed so much weight on your chest. Maybe you woke up this morning and felt a little different without knowing why. Maybe the air felt warmer, or the silence felt calmer, or your heartbeat felt steadier. Even if nothing in your physical world has changed, something in your inner world has shifted. You can feel it, that gentle tug toward relief, the subtle warmth at the edge of your awareness. This is not imagination. This is alignment. For weeks, maybe months, you have been carrying emotional heaviness without being able to name it. It showed up in different ways. A tiredness you couldn't explain. A sadness that appeared without warning. A sense of pressure around your heart. Moments where you felt disconnected from yourself. Mornings where you woke up already exhausted. Nights where your thoughts wouldn't settle. You were not broken. You were transforming. And transformation always feels heavy before it feels light. The angels want you to understand something essential. What you saw as stagnation was actually preparation. What felt like emotional fog was your spirit shedding old burdens. What felt like confusion was your heart unraveling the past. What felt like darkness was your soul making room for the return of light. You did not fail. You grew. And today, the energy around you finally shifts to support the next stage of that growth. Think about how long you've been trying to hold everything together, trying to be strong even when you were tired, trying to stay calm even when you felt overwhelmed, trying to keep moving even when your spirit begged for rest, trying to show up for everyone else even when you needed someone to show up for you. You carried all of that on your own, quietly, gracefully, silently, and the angels saw it. They saw your unspoken battles, your quiet tears, your late-night fears, your hidden aches, the weight you never admitted, the pressure you never shared. That is why today carries a specific message, a release, a softening, a moment of grace specially marked for you. The angels say, today is the day your spirit begins to feel light again. Let that sentence sink into your ribs, your shoulders, your breath, your heartbeat. Let it fill the space inside you that has been tense for far too long. Because today, something lifts. The emotional fog you've been stuck in begins to thin. The silent pain you've been carrying starts to loosen its hold. The exhaustion that has followed you for weeks begins to dissolve. You may not see it yet, but you will feel it. A shift is underway, small, gentle, but powerful. This light is not here to overwhelm you. It is here to meet you exactly where you are. It is here to warm the cold corners of your heart. It is here to remind you of who you are beneath the heaviness. You are not meant to live with constant tension. You are not meant to wake up tired every day. You are not meant to carry the weight of situations you did not create. You are not meant to hold pain longer than your spirit can bear. You are not meant to fight every battle alone. You deserve ease. You deserve clarity. You deserve rest. You deserve comfort. You deserve lightness. And today, that lightness returns. Imagine all the things that have been pulling you down lately. The overthinking, the emotional fatigue, the pressure on your chest, the tightness in your body, the heaviness behind your eyes, the sense of being stretched too thin. All of these begin to release their grip, not suddenly, not violently, not in a dramatic burst, but gradually, warmly, lovingly, like sunlight rising and slowly dissolving the remnants of night. Your spirit is rising with that light. Slowly, gently, steadily, The angels understand that healing isn't a moment. It's a return to your heart, a return to your peace, a return to the softness you forgot you had, a return to the clarity you thought you lost, a return to yourself. And today marks the beginning of that return. Take a deeper breath now. Feel how your body responds, how your shoulders drop a little, how your chest opens a little, how your nerves settle a little. This is not coincidence. This is your spirit opening the door for the light. For so long you felt trapped inside an emotional dimness. Not quite sadness, not quite depression, not quite anxiety, just a heavy fog that didn't move. Today, that fog begins to peel away, and underneath it, there is warmth, there is clarity, there is strength, there is softness, there is you. You've been strong for too long, far longer than anyone realizes. You've held yourself together even when you were falling apart inside. You've endured more than you ever spoke out loud. And yet here you are, breathing through it, learning through it, rising from it. That is resilience. That is courage. That is spirit. That is light. Archangel Michael stands beside you today with a message meant only for you. The weight you could not express is lifting. Your heart finally has room to breathe again. Let those words settle softly into your being. Because today, you step into a day that was always meant to find you. A day your soul has been waiting for. A day where the energy shifts from burden to relief. A day where your spirit rises just a little higher. A day where your inner light flickers back to life. And this is only the beginning. If you feel ready to anchor this light into your heart, you may say, softly or silently, I welcome light. Because today truly is the day your light begins to return. There is something unfolding inside you today that feels unfamiliar, yet strangely comforting. It is not loud. It is not traumatic. It is not overwhelming. Instead, it feels like a gentle loosening, as if someone quietly unfastened a knot you have been carrying in your chest for far too long. This soft shift is not accidental. It is the sensation of emotional weight releasing itself from your spirit. The angels want you to know that the heaviness you've been living with did not come from weakness. It came from holding, absorbing, enduring, suppressing, protecting, and staying strong in moments when you didn't have the luxury of falling apart. Every time you pushed through exhaustion, every time you swallowed your feelings to keep the peace, every time you comforted others while your own heart was aching, every time you said, I'm fine when you were anything but fine, all of those moments built up inside you. And yet, you kept carrying them with grace. The truth is, no one can see the weight you hold the way the angels do. They see the invisible battles. They see the quiet breakdowns in your mind. They see the nights you stayed awake with thoughts you couldn't silence. They see the mornings you pushed yourself out of bed even when your spirit felt drained. They see the days you smiled through a storm. They see the strength you never asked for, but learned to embody. And that is why today is different. Today is not about carrying anything. Today is about releasing, not by force, not by effort, not by trying to fix yourself, but by simply allowing your heart to breathe again. The angels say, your spirit is finally ready to let go of what it no longer needs to hold. Think of how long you carried emotions that belonged to other people, their expectations, their disappointments, their criticisms, their chaos, their silence, their distance. Think of how many times you put yourself second because you didn't want to burden anyone. Think of how often you apologized for feeling too much, needing too much, wanting too much. Think of how deeply you suppressed emotions because you didn't feel safe expressing them. All of that suppression created heaviness. And today, something inside you says, enough. Not in bitterness, not in frustration, but in relief. Your heart is finally tired of being tired. And when the heart reaches that point, healing begins almost instantly, quietly, naturally, like a sunrise that doesn't need to announce itself. Today, healing is not something you are chasing. It is something coming to you. It is meeting you exactly where you are, without requiring anything from you. You may feel it in the small things. Your breath flows a little easier. Your shoulders relax without effort. The tension behind your eyes loosens. Your thoughts soften around the edges. A sense of calm lingers a little longer than usual. The noise inside your mind feels quieter. These are not coincidences. They are symptoms of release. Your nervous system, which has been overstimulated for so long, is finally unwinding. Your spirit, which has been running on empty, is beginning to refill. Your heart, which has been carrying too much, is laying things down one by one. The angels say, you have been in survival mode for too long. Today, your soul remembers what peace feels like. This peace is gentle. It doesn't demand your attention. It doesn't make you jump. It doesn't overwhelm. It simply rests around you like a warm blanket, reminding you that for the first time in a long time, you are safe inside your own body. You don't need to run. You don't need to overthink. You don't need to brace for impact. You don't need to prepare for disappointment. You don't need to predict outcomes. You don't need to replay old pain. You can just be. This just being is not laziness. It is healing. Because sometimes the soul heals not when you push yourself harder, but when you stop pushing entirely. Let yourself notice something else. Today, you are less reactive. Situations that used to trigger emotional spirals feel muted. Thoughts that used to overwhelm you feel lighter. Worries that used to dominate your mind feel less urgent. This is because the weight within you is no longer feeding them. When the root of heaviness weakens, the branches of anxiety, doubt, sadness, and confusion begin to fall away on their own. Your system is resetting. And as it resets, you may feel pockets of emptiness. Not a sad emptiness, but a spacious one. A sense of open air inside your chest. A feeling of having room again. Room to breathe. Room to think clearly. Room to feel gently. Room to rest. Room to simply exist without pressure. This space is sacred. It is not something you need to fill right away. Let it remain open. It is where your light will grow. The angels say, what once felt heavy is dissolving because your spirit is rising. Your spirit is rising quietly, steadily, like a soft glow expanding from your heart outward. You may not see it with your eyes, but you feel it with your entire being. Your emotions are not rushing this time. Your mind is not resisting this time. Your body is not tensing this time. Everything in you is softening, and softness is where healing happens. You don't have to try to heal today. Healing is happening to you. You don't need to fight anything. You don't need to justify anything. You don't need to understand everything. Just let the warmth move through you. Let the heaviness drift away. Let your heart exhale. Let your spirit recharge. Let the light settle where darkness once lived. Today, you are not climbing. You are not falling. You are rising. Quietly, naturally, gracefully. If you want to anchor this rising into your day, you may whisper softly or silently, light is returning to me, because it is. And it will continue to grow from this moment forward. There is a quiet awakening happening inside you today, one that does not come with fireworks or sudden revelations, but with a gentle shift in your inner atmosphere. It feels like a soft breeze blowing through a room that has been closed for too long. You may not see the change, but you feel it. Your spirit recognizes it before your mind does. This is the beginning of your inner light returning. For a long time, you lived with heaviness that you did not know how to express. It wasn't just sadness. It wasn't just stress. It wasn't just exhaustion. It was a slow collecting weight, tiny emotional fragments that built up over time. A disappointment here, a heartbreak there, a fear that lingered too long, a responsibility you shouldn't have had to carry. a silence you swallowed, a moment where you needed comfort but felt alone. None of these pieces were overwhelming on their own, but together they became a burden. You didn't choose it. It simply happened while you tried to survive. You kept moving because life demanded movement. You kept smiling because someone needed your strength. You kept hoping even when the hope felt faint. You kept holding on even when your grip was slipping. You kept taking care of others while your own heart quietly cracked. And because you were so focused on carrying everything, you never noticed how heavy it all became. Until now. Today, your spirit finally acknowledges the weight, not to punish you, but to release it. You are not sinking anymore. You are rising. The angels say, your heart is being lifted because it cannot carry what it once did. This is not failure. This is liberation. You are entering a chapter where your soul refuses to be burdened the way it has been. A chapter where your heart chooses softness over strain. A chapter where your body signals that it needs rest, and you actually listen. A chapter where your spirit remembers how to feel peaceful again. Look carefully at how you feel right now. Not excited, not overjoyed, not ecstatic, but lighter. A little quieter inside. A little more open. A little more spacious. A little more like yourself. Healing often begins with this kind of subtle shift. You may notice that certain thoughts that once weighed you down no longer have the same grip. Memories that used to sting now feel distant. Worries that used to consume you feel softer. The inner tension you've been living with feels like it's slowly dissolving. This is because your spirit is recalibrating. When heaviness leaves, it doesn't slam the door behind it. It slips out quietly. Your body, your mind, and your heart are learning to exist without that weight. And this learning creates a sense of emptiness at first. Not a sad emptiness. A healing emptiness. A space where new light will flow. Think of how you feel when you open a window after days of stale air. The first breeze feels almost unfamiliar, but refreshing. That is exactly what your spirit is experiencing today. It's breathing again. The angels want you to understand something deeply. Light is not something you chase. It is something you allow. For so long, you've been trying to fix yourself. Trying to be better. Trying to be stronger. Trying to be happier. Trying to think more positively. Trying to push through the heaviness. But healing doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from surrender, from giving yourself permission to soften. And today, without forcing anything, you finally softened. You let your guard down. You allowed a moment of silence. You allowed the tension to melt. You allowed your breath to deepen. You allowed a small, quiet sense of peace to touch your heart. That is healing. That is transformation. That is your light returning. There is no rush, no urgency, no pressure. Healing moves at the pace of your nervous system, not your expectations. And right now, your nervous system is slowly uncoiling after being tightly wound for far too long. You may feel like your thoughts are flowing more gently. Your emotions are easier to hold. Your heart feels less guarded. Your shoulders feel less tense. Your breath feels clearer. This is emotional decompression, the release your spirit has been waiting for. There is also a deeper truth emerging. You are no longer willing to carry pain that I send to yours. You are no longer absorbing the emotions of others. You are no longer shrinking yourself to protect someone else. You are no longer sacrificing your peace to keep the peace. Your soul is setting boundaries, even before your mind puts words to them. The angels say, your light grows wherever your burden ends. Light follows release, always. Today marks the beginning of a new internal rhythm. You may notice it over the next few days. You speak more gently to yourself. You react with more calmness to things that used to overwhelm you. You feel less pulled into situations that drain you. You crave more silence and reflection. You desire space, fresh air, softness, clarity. These are signs of an awakening, not the loud kind, but the subtle one that transforms you from the inside outward. Your spirit is remembering who it is without the weight. And that memory is powerful. It reminds you that you were not meant to live exhausted. You were not meant to feel numb or stuck. You were not meant to exist in emotional fog. You were not meant to carry struggles alone. You were meant to feel light, not once, not rarely, but regularly. Today's shift is the first step back into that natural state. If you want to welcome this new energy more fully, you can whisper or simply think, "My spirit is lifting." Because it is, quietly, truthfully, undeniably. And this gentle rising is only the beginning of what is coming. There is a calm unfolding inside you now, the kind of calm that does not arrive suddenly, but gradually, like sunlight slowly stretching across a quiet morning. It feels gentle, warm, steady. It feels like something inside you is finally settling into its rightful place. This is the moment your spirit has been moving toward. For so long, you lived with the belief that heaviness was your new normal, that the emotional weight you carried was simply part of who you had become. You adapted to the strain. You adjusted to the pressure. You learned to function while carrying burdens that were never meant to stay. You kept going without questioning it, because stopping to feel the pain seemed harder than pushing through it. But today, something is different. Today, your heart no longer wants to hold what once felt necessary. Today, your spirit refuses to let heaviness be the default. Today, your inner world is shifting from survival to restoration. The angels say, "You have come to the end of a long internal season. Now your light begins." Let that settle into you. Because this is not poetic metaphor. It is an energetic truth. Your soul has worked tirelessly, quietly, patiently beneath the surface. Every moment of awareness, every breath you took when things felt suffocating, every tear you hid, every night you forced yourself to sleep while carrying unspoken weight, all of it brought you to this point. A point where release finally outweighs resistance. A point where healing becomes easier than holding on. A point where your spirit feels safe enough to open again. Look at yourself gently for a moment. If you tune into your body, you may notice your chest feels less restricted. Your breath moves more freely. Your jaw is less tense. Your shoulders sit lower. Your thoughts carry less urgency. Your emotions feel less sharp. These are not random sensations. They are the physical signs of spiritual release. You are not imagining this shift. You are experiencing it. The heaviness that once dimmed your light is losing its influence. The internal pressure that once made it hard to feel hope is dissolving. The emotional fog that once clouded your clarity is thinning. You're finally moving from weight into light. This light does not demand you to be perfect. It does not ask you to pretend. It does not require energy you do not have. It simply asks you to allow. Allow the warmth. Allow the softness. Allow the gentleness. Allow the peace. Allow the inner quiet. Allow the new beginning. Because that beginning is already here. Think about everything you have endured. All the invisible battles. All the suppressed emotions. All the silent resilience you carried inside you. Now consider this. You survived. You stayed. You kept breathing. You kept showing up. You kept moving forward, even when it felt like the world was resting on your ribcage. That resilience is why healing has space to enter today. Your endurance opened the door. Your persistence created the pathway. Your faith, even in its smallest moments, kept your spirit alive. Now that same spirit is rising. The angels say, what you feel today is not temporary comfort. It is an invitation to your new emotional reality. This reality is made of things you thought you lost. Lightness, ease, warmth, hope, clarity, inner safety, self-compassion, peace. These are not luxuries. They are your natural state. For a long time, your nervous system lived on alert, racing for the next blow, the next disappointment, the next emotional storm. But now, your energy is shifting into safety. And when safety enters the body, peace follows naturally. You may notice over the next days that your reactions change. Things that used to overwhelm you no longer feel as heavy. Thoughts that once spiraled now dissolve more quickly. Old fears begin to lose their grip. Your inner voice softens. Your mind stops fighting itself. Your heart stops guarding itself so tightly. This is what returning to yourself feels like. Not a dramatic transformation, but a gentle remembering. You are remembering joy, not the loud kind, but the calm one. You are remembering hope, not depending on circumstances, but blooming from inside. You are remembering peace, the kind that comes with no explanation. You are remembering who you were before the weight accumulated. This return is the essence of healing. The angels want to leave you with a truth you may not have realized. You were never losing your light. You were clearing the space for it. Every moment of struggle created room for today's relief. Every tear softened the ground for new beginnings. Every silent battle strengthened your spirit. Every setback peeled away an old layer of pain. Every heartbreak expanded your capacity to feel deeply. Every disappointment made space for alignment. And now, that alignment is taking place. Your heart is opening again. Your spirit is breathing again. Your mind is settling again. Your energy is rising again. You are stepping into a new internal chapter, one that feels lighter, clearer, and more aligned with the person you are becoming. You do not have to fear what comes next. You do not have to brace yourself. You do not have to carry everything alone. You only have to let the light continue. Take a slow, steady breath, a kind that feels like a gentle expansion in your chest. Feel how your body responds. Feel how the breath moves more freely than before. Feel how this moment sits differently inside you. This breath is not an ordinary breath. It is a sign of release. It is a sign of renewal. It is a sign of restoration. It is a sign of rebirth. You are healing right now in this moment, even if the world around you looks the same. The angels end with one final message, a message meant to stay with you long after today. Your light begins today, and it will not leave you again. Let those words settle deep into your heart. Let them echo gently in your mind. Let them root themselves into your spirit, because today, your light truly returns. Your peace takes shape. Your heart relaxes. Your mind clears. Your spirit rises. And this new chapter is only beginning.